What is dyslexia? Dyslexia is a general term for disorders that involve difficulty in learning to read or interpret words, letters, or other symbols, but does not affect general intelligence. There are many types of dyslexia. We're going to go over a few today. Phonological, working memory, visual memory, auditory memory, and processing speed. All these can be a part of dyslexia. The first one is phonological dyslexia, the ability to identify and manipulate the sounds of language. A student may have difficulty working with sounds and linking them to the letter symbols that they represent. So, for the example here is cat. The student is thinking cat, C-A, but they cannot recognize the sound of T, as in T. Many students have difficulty with this that have dyslexia. There are difficulties in phonological dyslexia. Here are a few. Manipulating sounds in your head, sound discrimination, rhyming, phoneme isolation, syllable division, blending sounds, mixing up similar sounding words, and finding the right word. The next one is surface dyslexia. Kids with dyslexia may have trouble with words that don't sound the way they are spelled. That can be very difficult, even for students that doesn't have dyslexia, especially learning that PH makes the sound as an F would. That can be very confusing for anybody, but especially a student with dyslexia. The next one is rapid naming deficit. It refers to the ability to quickly name aloud a series of familiar items on a page. These include letters, numbers, colors, or objects. Other names for it are rapid automatic naming or just rapid naming. A student could have issues with math, language, or even attention issues. Attention issues really brings back the thought of ADD or ADHD. As soon as we think a student is having an attention problem and they can't comprehend what's being told to them because they can't pay attention, we automatically think ADD, ADHD. But it actually could be rapid naming deficit, which is part of dyslexia. The next one is double deficit dyslexia. A person would have weak phonological awareness. The person would have a tough time recognizing sounds in words and poor naming speed rate. So for example, we look at the word the. We know that the is spelled T-H-E. But a person with dyslexia, the T really doesn't make the T sound. So a child would have trouble knowing that the is spelled T-H-E. That is a part of phonological awareness. The last one is visual dyslexia. On the right, there is a photo of what it's like for a student to have visual dyslexia. All the words run together and they can't make out what the words say. A person would experience unusual visual experience when looking at a word or words. The reason is because their brain finds it difficult to remember what the word looks like. So it's easy for me and you to read a book and to see the words and to know what they say and know what they mean. But for a person with dyslexia, if they're reading a chapter book, all the words are going together, and that makes them hard for them to decipher it. So if we have a student with dyslexia in our classroom, we need to make sure that they have time to read the question very carefully and give them time to process it and not to rush through it. The cause of visual processing problems is not known, but it can result from numerous visual stressors, including lighting, word density, and color. Now that we've covered dyslexia, just a few of the topics, I hope you understand what dyslexia means and how it can affect students and even adults.